Recommending. Hello, my name is Deb Davidson and I'm the nutritionist at Senior Care in Gloucester. March is National Nutrition Month, and what we thought is we could give you an example of how to improve the quality of your diet. As we get older, our taste buds change and we require fewer calories. I know for myself, I'm in the senior years, my house is empty, I love to eat, but I don't love to cook every day. So what I'm going to do is give you some examples of how to increase the variety of grains that you might have, and recommend that these changes be made evolutionary versus revolutionary. If you improved your quality of your meals and incorporated this once a month, you'd be far ahead, and that's what we're recommending. To start with, I want to introduce some new grains. What we're trying to do is do a departure from the potatoes and rice and white starches. With the grains, with white rice, what they've done is they've removed some of the poor part of the grain where the nutrients are. Then what happens, whether it's cereal or with rice, they enrich it with vitamins and minerals, but it's not as healthy as eating some of these whole grains. The whole grains have been shown to help with digestion, decrease constipation, decrease inflammation, and have also been shown to improve blood glucose control and, importantly, weight. As we get older, many of us start to gain weight because we need fewer calories. Quinoa is a grain. It looks like a grain, pardon me. It actually is a seed, and it looks like this. Quinoa comes in red, it comes in white, kind of opaque white, and it comes in black. And I've prepared two items with the red and the opaque color. It's from Peru and Bolivia. The beauty of this, as I said, is it's a seed, is that it's very high in protein and vitamins and minerals and fiber. Many individuals who are on a vegetarian diet eat quinoa, but you don't need to be a vegetarian to enjoy it. As you can see, it's very, very tiny seeds. In my reading, what I was told is it is a cousin to spinach and Swiss chard, which I thought, that's interesting because they're totally different entities. So what we're trying to do is, by you trying to have some quinoa, the way to cook it is that you would boil it. With all of these items, you're going to boil it, and it's usually 1 cup of, whether it's quinoa or whatever the other grain is, to 2 cups of water. And you're going to boil it, and you're going to wait and have the water evaporate. It doesn't take very long at all. So what we have here is the quinoa. And what I had made was, I made a vegetable stew. I cook like my grandmother cooked. I don't have a lot of recipes. I throw in a little of this, I throw in a little of that. So this is a combination of sweet potatoes, red lentils, quinoa, and carrots. To cut some of the starch, I added more carrots than sweet potatoes. And I just cooked it down, and it's very hearty. This is a salad made with quinoa, and it has cucumbers, it has edamame, which are soybeans, it has tomatoes, it has peppers, and it has carrots in it, and it has a lime dressing. Pharaoh is an ancient grain. I find it's one of my favorites. Pharaoh is a lot higher in carbohydrate than quinoa. This is what Pharaoh looks like. I love this. This is my favorite. I actually had Pharaoh for breakfast this morning in place of my oatmeal. So what I did with the Pharaoh is that I made a salad, and I have celery, and I have cherries that were dried that I put in water to plump them up, and then I have a little onion, and then I have oil and vinegar and the Pharaoh for a delicious salad. Pharaoh, if I had to compare Pharaoh to quinoa, quinoa is not a grain. So somebody who has gluten sensitivity or who has celiac disease can use the quinoa. The Pharaoh and then the couscous I'm going to be talking about are grains. But the Pharaoh is larger in granules, and I think it's very hearty. The next one that I wanted to look at is couscous. Couscous is pasta. It's little pieces of semolina. It's wheat. So if you're gluten sensitive, no couscous. Pharaoh and couscous are often found in recipes that are touting the Mediterranean diet, which is encouraging you to eat more fruits, vegetables, whole grains, good sources of fats. So oftentimes we'll see couscous or we'll see Pharaoh recipes. Of all of these, Pharaoh and couscous have protein. The couscous probably has the least amount of fiber. The quinoa and the Pharaoh are a great source of fiber. They're about 5 grams of fiber. They're 5 or 6 grams of protein. The couscous only has 2.5 grams of fiber. I still like it anyway because a lot of times I get tired of just regular pasta or potatoes. And unlike white rice, this has a lot more protein. What I prepared is I made roasted vegetables. I, at the end of the week, look to see what I have in my vegetable drawer, and then I put the oven on 425, put it in a pan, sprinkle it with salt, pepper, olive oil, and let it go and roast it. And then I used that as a base, and I added, with this I added couscous, but the couscous, the Pharaoh, and the quinoa are all interchangeable, which is what's wonderful about this. And what you can do is, when I'm preparing something, I will prepare what I'm going to have that day. So I'll prepare that for my meal, and all 3 of these can stay in the refrigerator for 5 days. But I try to make, as I said, because I don't love to cook every day, I try to make enough so that I can have little containers and put it in the freezer. This is great to pull, and I'll add some chicken or fish, some vegetables, and bring it to lunch at work. This is about 1.5 cups. If you are freezing it, again, it lasts for 3 months, so a lot of times I'll just write a little tag on it as to when the expiration date is. That I have. Again, we've got the couscous. The couscous could be eaten by itself, or it can be paired with the chicken. This was a couscous salad that has olives and onions and scallions. How many of you eat oatmeal in the morning? I do. It's probably one of my favorite breakfasts. So whether it's the regular oatmeal, whether it's this is quick cooking steel cut, I just found this. This is 5-grain cereal that I love because it's a little more interesting than plain yogurt. But what I will do is I'll make the oatmeal, and then I'll add some berries to it. whether they're fresh. But usually what I try to do is add frozen berries because they last a lot longer. So I'll add some berries to it. And then I'll add some nuts. Here I have walnuts and I have almonds, so I'll add some nuts to it. And then I will add some yogurt to it. I might add half of this, so I'm bumping up the protein. And also, I often add flaxseed. Flaxseed for 2 tablespoons, it's only 90 calories, and you're adding 4 more grams of fiber, and you're adding 3 more grams of protein. So I turned my oatmeal, which ordinarily would have been about 5-6 grams of protein, and now I'm over 20 with the addition of the yogurt and the flaxseed and the nuts. Some other items that we have here are soup mix. I love this. I put it in my crock pot. I'll put in some tomatoes, again, whatever vegetables I have left over, and just let it go and cook for 4 hours. And this, a small bowl of it is about 200 calories. It's 12 grams of protein and 18 grams of fiber. So my recommendation is to start slowly. If you're not used to eating high fiber items, your stomach might bother you just a little bit, so to start slowly. This I just discovered. This is banza. It's pasta made from chickpeas. And actually, looking at this, it was delicious. I had this, and I mixed it with some tomato sauce, and I mixed it with some chicken, and I had some vegetables on the side. This, for 1 serving, is 5 grams of fiber. It's 190 calories. This has 11 grams of protein. So in actuality, this product has more protein than the grains. Because again, the grains have 5 or 6 grams of protein. This has more. It's made with chickpeas and pea starch. This is quick cooking brown rice, and it's 180 calories for a cup, 39 grams of carbs, so it's pretty comparable to these. 2 fiber, the others have a little more fiber, the other grains, and it's 4 grams of protein. So what I decided to do is I decided to try to make a stuffed pepper with it. This looked better hot. But I have the brown rice, and I have mushrooms, and I have scallions, and peppers, and tomatoes, and then I have some cheese on the top. It's hearty, it's flavorful, and it's healthy. Here we have different beans. As we get older, our need for protein actually increases. There's something called sarcopenia, which is when we start to lose some of our muscle. We start to lose some of our muscle beginning in our 30s, and we lose about 3 to 5% each decade, unfortunately. So sometimes it's harder as we get older to carry our grocery bags. It's harder to pick up things. So it's important. We want to try to maintain our muscle and have adequate protein intake. I often will add beans, and I have to be honest. This has to be, for me, a concerted effort, because a lot of times this doesn't get in my food. So I try to eat beans. I'll put it on salads. Again, I talked about this bean soup, which is fabulous, which is very, very high in protein and very high in fiber. So that's some of what I'm doing with the beans. Another area that we want to suggest is to try to have you increase fruits and vegetables. That has to be a concerted effort. All of this, you have to have these things at home. So usually at the beginning of the week, I try to think of what I might be making for at least 3 days, so that I'm not eating the same thing. I don't know how many of you will make a roasted chicken and then you end up eating it for 4 days, and by the 4th day I feel like clucking. So what I do to increase my fruits and vegetables, I usually have a bowl of clementines, and I like clementines because they're easier easier to peel if you have arthritis. So I usually have it on my table, so when I pass, I might grab a clementine. Peaches, pears, apples, all of those, any of the fruits are a powerhouse of vitamins. So that's what I might do. We want more fruits and vegetables. So over here I have a cup of berries, and again, I said whether it's the fresh or whether it's the frozen, it's great to have as a snack, it's great to add to smoothies, it's great to add to recipes. I know I also make something, I'll take little baby spinach leaves and mandarin oranges and baby carrots and make a salad out of that. Here is an example where we're talking about half the plate being vegetables, either fruit or vegetables. I did this as a snack, and I have these little pita pockets that are filled with low-fat cheese. These pita pockets, I only have 3, but for 5 of these, it's only 80 calories. It's not high carb, it's 3 grams of fiber and 6 grams of protein. So that, coupled with the cheese, I have about 10, 11 grams of protein right there. And I know with a good balsamic dressing on this, this could be delicious. Last but not least, I wanted to talk about portion sizes. As we get older, the amount of calories we should be taking in diminishes. What can you do to try to be mindful of portion sizes? I am using myself as an example. About 30 years ago, I got some new plates. Isn't this pretty? Lovely, but look at the size of it. This plate is 1.5 times the size of a regular dinner plate. So the first year I had those plates, I gained 10 pounds. Sadly, I must admit it's true. What I'm telling you is we have to cut down portion sizes. So those plates are nice to look at, but I never use them anymore. I use them more as a serving platter. This is a regular sized dinner plate. What I've found, because I love to eat, and if you put a reduced portion or a normal sized portion on this plate, you're gonna feel like you've been deprived. I started using a smaller plate, and I'm very happy because everything's covered and I feel like I'm getting enough food. The other thing that I use is I have this smaller plate, or sometimes what I will do is I'll use this for my salad and this for my protein and starch. By virtue of the boundaries of the plate, you're going to eat less. So with some of the ideas that I've given you today, I hope that you will try to incorporate some of these ideas. We want to try to decrease the amount of potatoes and white rice. We want to increase the whole grain products. We want to eat more fruits and vegetables, and we want to be mindful of portion sizes. Again, my name is Deb Davidson. I'm the nutritionist at Senior Care, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to share recipes. If you have some nutrition questions, please call me at Senior Care. Bon appetit!